Welcome back to the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking real estate, plumbing, mortgages, and beyond. I'm back with Brian Fitzpatrick, Director of Operations and Master Plumber at Holland, Mr. Holland Services. You've been in the business now 20 plus years.
I have, yeah.
Anything different on the bathroom renovation front from when you first started, to now? I guess, what are the trends now?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, when I first got into plumbing, people were, putting those very, very large sort of the tubs that were sort of built into like decks, right? What's ironic is that, only 5 years or so after I first started putting those in for people, we noticed when we would go back to their homes, they'd have plants in them, meaning they never used them.
Yeah.
And so tubs went away for a long time, and now they're coming back, but they're coming back as freestanding tubs.
Okay.
And so the freestanding tubs, which I'm sure you've seen on all the home shows and stuff like that, they're real sleek, they're real unique looking, but they're going away from taking up all that space.
Okay.
Some of the other things that we see are, showers that are a little more elaborate than just the single head that you used to have when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Body sprays are not unnormal these days, handhelds, things like that. People have really gone to design, bathrooms more of like a spa, like a getaway, rather than just the sort of utilitarian, usage of a bathroom.
Okay.
So we're seeing people, they're trying to spend more time in them, right?
Yeah.
And if you're going to do so, you might as well make it more comfortable, and just having some of those sort of amenities that are now somewhat affordable, right?
Yeah.
They were more expensive when, 20 plus years ago. To have some of those, body sprays were kind of unattainable for most people. So a lot of that stuff has come down in cost, and it's also come, it's a lot more available these days. So
Okay. Do you guys do, I feel like, I watch or listen to some health podcasts and stuff, like feel like these, what is it, saunas. Do you guys do that kind of stuff?
I have done some saunas. I've actually seen some saunas. They make saunas these days. I've hooked up water to a sauna that sort of, you build it within like your house, and it's like a standalone sauna that they're neat. They're made of cedar, and they kind of go, you kind of walk into them. People put them in their basements sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. I just heard that they're really good for, after you're done with a workout, it's, there's some health benefits. So I feel
absolutely,
like,
yeah.
I've got a couple of people who've done it. An uncle who did it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not as common as you would think, but yeah,
Okay.
they're out there. I mean, and they're again, a lot of that stuff has become way more affordable than it was even 15 ago.
Do you see people coming to you for the bathroom renovation, and where they'd say, hey, Brian, we want to work with you, but we want to try to keep costs down. We want to try to do a few things ourselves.
Sure.
Are there some things, are you like, yeah, that's okay? Or I guess,
yeah.
Absolutely. Opine on that for me.
For sure. Absolutely. So like if someone wanted to, give the bathroom sort of a facelift, we would be fine if they did certain aspects of it and maybe left some of the sort of more complicated stuff up to us. Some of those things could be, if they were somewhat mechanical and handy, they could remove and replace their own faucet. If they were maybe not so handy, if they wanted to sort of demo stuff for us, we're fine with that. Wherever that sort of line is that they're comfortable with, we're more than happy to sort of work with and accommodate. Sometimes, I've seen a lot of homeowners that say, I'd like to try to help and, kind of keep the costs down. And 9 times out of 10, when push comes to shove, they actually say, finally, can you just handle it? Which is again, it's fine. Wherever that line is for them, depending on if they're going to sell it, depending on if they're going to, if it's a renovation or a facelift for them to use or to enjoy, or if it's not for them to sell it.
Yeah, well, I guess let's talk a little bit about that, because so obviously if I'm going to be in the house 20 years, I'm going to do the job probably to the 9s or 10s, or at least, that would be my preference.
Right.
But like, hey, it's August right now, and hey, Brian, I think I'm going to sell next spring, or maybe 18 months from now, spring of 25. So I want to do it because I think it's going to help me sell.
Sure.
But I don't want to
break the bank.
I don't want to break the bank. Are there some things like fixtures or like, I guess, tell me a little bit about that renovation?
Sure. So like if you had, if your sinks were good, let's say, and the countertops were going to stay in the bathroom, we would put new faucetries on. And obviously you could pick finishes. These days things like black finishes on faucets are really popular. The sort of new gold looking things are very popular. You could do that. You could also keep all the plumbing in the walls and just sort of do the stuff outside. So you're not taking any walls down. You're not ripping tubs out, right? You're just sort of putting new trim onto things. Faucetries are new. Toilet would be new. That way, it kind of gives the bathroom sort of an updated look. Again, without taking walls down and floors out and all that stuff. I mean, that stuff gets expensive, right?
Got it. So try to, clean it up, freshen it up, facelift, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But you don't want to break the bank because you're planning on selling. You're not going to, don't put the sauna in on that renovation.
For sure. That's very true.
Or knock down some walls to build the big.
Yeah. And I would give some advice on, if you're going to do the full on remodel, do it when you're early in the home so you can enjoy it. Like I see far too many people forced to sort of make repairs that are extensive and expensive because they have to sell it, and the sort of state of the bathroom or the kitchen was just in such a state that they couldn't. Yeah, I find that kind of a shame, right? Where someone didn't get to enjoy that sort of renovation for even a few years.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of switch gears here, go into another subject it's kind of a present topic. And that's generators. Yeah. Like I feel it seems like every couple of weeks, hey, there's 60,000 people without power. I mean, just recently, I think it was like in the last 5 days.
I think it was 80,000 or something.
Yeah, it was a big number. And so he's like, my dad is always like, into my brother too. He's like, you guys got to get a generator because I haven't had one yet.
So we are seeing a much sort of necessary increase in people interested in generators. Infrastructure has been proven to be sort of failing in the United States. The way that these neighborhoods are expanding throughout all these sort of suburban areas, they can't support the infrastructure can't support these places. And what we're seeing is certain areas, right? And you can almost pin down the areas. They are having power outages at an extremely alarming rate. 2, 3, 4 times a year. It's thinking back to when I was a kid. I don't remember my power going off ever, right?
Right.
And so that there's things like that. And at Holland's Home Services, we have access to generators. We sell Generac generators. They're powered by natural gas, so that when the power goes out, it's under a second. It flips over, generator fires, and you can power the most essential things in your home. So, air conditioning, heat, a refrigerator, some essential lighting. So that
not the whole house.
Not the whole house.
The
size,
essentials.
Correct. Yeah, the size of the generators that are available for a residential house, they just couldn't do the entire house,
okay.
Right? But they work off of natural gas. Therefore, that's a very consistent sort of uninterrupted supply of energy. So therefore, they use that to generate electricity. It's again really, really popular right now. We're seeing a large demand.
So I should get one.
I would get one tomorrow.
Okay. From Mr. Holland.
There
Services. You go. So I guess staying on that topic, because like I feel like my parents, they're out in Oconomowoc. Mm-hmm. I feel like definitely they're in that 4 times a year. Is there I mean, is the city, does the city of Milwaukee have issues? Or,
they do.
Or Tosa, or
it doesn't. These
suburbs that are touching Milwaukee.
Yeah,
get them too.
Not as consistently as the outlying areas. That's been proven, but they still have power outages. I mean, we're seeing again this last storm. I remember it was about 80,000. I think we looked at it at who was all out of power, and it's something that 80,000 people, and
it's a lot of people.
It's a lot, and they actually didn't regain power for, I think this one was like up to 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, whatever you have in the fridge is gone, whatever you have in the freezer is gone.
Yeah.
You're probably sweating because it's 90 degrees out, and so like all those things are somewhat avoidable. And
it's been such a hot summer. I mean,
yeah.
It's been hot.
One of the things we also see with generators is people that have certain needs, like if they're on a breathing machine. If they're on something for sort of life support, you definitely want to have a backup.
Okay.
We have heard stories, unfortunately, of those things not going the way you think, and
wow.
and so can't have that. You cannot rely on sort of that electrical grid that way these days. You just can't.
Okay. So really, you're saying, hey, definitely in the outlining areas, but you should even consider it in the metro or in the cities.
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
Wow. Yeah, I just thought that was just like a timely topic because it just happened.
Absolutely.
And it just seems like it's happening more and more.
It is happening more and more. And again, I'm not a sort of infrastructure expert, but you can just watch the consistency of failure, and it's happening a lot more than it used to, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered a lot here. I think we got. Do you mind sticking around?
Yeah, for sure.
Just a little bit more, but man, yeah. So generators. Hey, with the power outages we're having, hey, get a generator, and then, don't break the bank if you're going to be selling in the next year and a half. Maybe focus on fixtures and lighting, maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, don't redo everything.
Just refresh.
Yeah. And then, hey, if you're going to be in the house a while, get it done early.
I agree. I completely agree.
Enjoy your bathroom. It's
instead
your sanctuary.
Instead of handing it to someone else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don't just, just enjoy it.
I agree.
All great stuff, Brian. Thanks again. And let's come back and do another one. But a lot of good stuff here. Appreciate it. This has been the Snod Pod with John Snodgrass, your mortgage resource, where we're talking real estate, mortgages, and beyond, and plumbing and generators. So stick around. We got some more stuff to talk about with Brian Fitzpatrick of Mr. Holland Services, Master Plumber, Director of Operations. We'll see you soon.